I know that your favorite part of watching TV growing up was the advertisements. You know that for every 10 minutes of SpongeBob you watched growing up, you'd watch 5 minutes of dumb repetitive ads about mac and cheese, vacuum cleaners, and other stuff that we probably can't get out of our heads today. Yet nobody wants to watch ads, obviously. They are just a part of life, and they still are a part of life today, as, you know, ads are obviously featured on stuff like YouTube, Twitch, etc. But what if I told you that a very big video game company is considering putting advertisements in their AAA video games? Now, I'm talking about Electronic Arts, or EA, the company that is infamous for making great decisions that benefit all gamers and are in no way greedy. Yeah, I'm obviously kidding. I know EA has a pretty bad reputation for being greedy, so something like this probably doesn't make it look any better. So during a recent earnings call, the CEO of EA, named Andrew Wilson, he was talking about their live service model for their AAA games. So specifically, he was talking about the next Battlefield game. So the last one was in 2021, called Battlefield 2042. I know I kind of just said a lot of numbers there. Yeah, 3 years ago was the last Battlefield game, so obviously EA is shifting their focus into the next one. And he was talking about how this is going to be a lot more of a live service model than they've ever really had for a Battlefield game. And then very shortly later on, he talked about integrating advertisements in these AAA titles like the next Battlefield game. And he talked about how this could have the potential to grow their profits a lot. Now, that might seem kind of weird that a CEO of a video game company is being that direct about just focusing on profit, but keep in mind this was an earnings call for investors. It wasn't exactly, you know, an E3 presentation. And he did caution too that he wanted to have, quote, thoughtful implementations of these advertisements, so he basically signaled that they want to do it in a responsible way and to just be overall careful about it. Now, to me, I'm not gonna lie, obviously I don't like the idea of having advertisements in video games. As many other gamers don't. Obviously, a ton of people have voiced their concern about this, not just today as a reaction to this, but in the past when this concern has been brought up before about video games having advertisements in them. This is kind of different though, I think, because this is really, to my knowledge, the first time that a video game company has been this direct and straightforward about it, basically saying that they have plans to implement ads in the future to support these games. Yeah, I don't like it, but I also have a couple thoughts about it. The first one being, think back 10 years ago to everybody's attitude of microtransactions in video games. This was just introduced as a concept at the time. People hated this idea, but fast forward to 2024, people don't have nearly as bad of an attitude on microtransactions as they used to, especially when it comes to free live service games. It's kind of just known that, hey, this microtransaction model is basically what supports this game and makes it free. And while microtransactions can still stand to be annoying at times, I get it. For free games, it does support it. So my point being, maybe this is something that we're going to, I don't know, grow accustomed to over time, like it or not. I mean, you could say that this is just another instance of EA being greedy, or you could say, hey, maybe this is just another way that they're going to financially support these games and keep them free. Now, the other main thought I have is that with something like advertisements in video games, when looking at people's reactions to this, I think it's really going to come down to how they implement it. Like, obviously, when I think of advertisements in video games, I'm thinking of being 5 minutes into a Battle Royale game and getting a Doritos ad front and center on my screen. Obviously, something like that is completely ridiculous. So do they have ways to implement these advertisements in games that are way less intrusive? I don't know, maybe it's going to come down to just keeping it on, you know, menus, in-game lobbies on the side of the screen, I don't know, stuff like that. Yeah, the execution of how they do this is going to be extremely important. So yeah, this is the first time I'm really seeing a big video game company being open to this idea and making it publicly known. You could say that the floodgates have now opened, and I don't know, maybe other video game companies with their live service games will start following suit. Microtransactions were the big thing in the 2010s for live service video games. Maybe in the 2020s, the big thing is going to be advertisements.